Hello everybody and welcome back to the Salt Bitch 34 channel, the Salt Bitch HQ. My name is Sarah Wheeler, head of the Salt Bitches. On my channel is really a platform to discuss the most important, groundbreaking, prolific talent of our generation, which is mainly the Bravo Real Housewives stars. But today we have kind of a new introduction to our Bravo universe. This is not exactly a Bravo show, but you can tell that it is trying to be, and it clearly wants to be, so I feel like who better than discuss it than the Queen of Bravo herself, Sarah Wheeler. The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives hit Hulu like a week ago or so. Literally everybody and their mom is talking about it. It's an easy watch for us Real Housewives fans because it's definitely filmed in like a similar format, clearly mimicking Real Housewives, but I also think that it can attract a younger audience too. Literally the average age of these women, full mothers and wives, average age on this cast is probably like 26 or 27. So as a 23-year-old who is single and has hardly had a successful relationship in her life, I am fascinated by people who have it all at the age of 27 and they have, you know, a husband and a family and a home that they own. Like, it is fascinating to me. I naturally knew that I had to watch it. So I thought that since everyone is talking about this show, a lot of people have been asking me for my opinions about it. I thought a great way to just introduce everybody and the whole cast would just be to do a quick tier ranking of all of our Mormon mommies. Just because it was like a pretty quick season. There was only 8 episodes. Not much happened on camera, so I don't feel like I could get into a full deep dive of like the whole season just yet. This is the show's baby steps. This was the first season. It only had 8 episodes, but I think we need to keep that in mind. Let's go back to talk about the context of these Mormon moms and why they warranted a whole reality show. So back in 2021, 2022, like nearing the end of COVID, these Mormon mothers were just slaying the TikTok mom game. So these girls were making videos, these like TikTok videos where they would like dance together and they're all stunningly gorgeous. They're moms, so they'd make like mommy content about like, I don't know, what they're packing for lunch this week. I have no idea what moms make on TikTok, whatever. That's the kind of shit that they would do. But it was a lot of like TikTok trendy dancing stuff. It's not like they were like writing and creating content like I do. Not to be shady, but it's like they were standing up there and dancing. And I feel like a lot of the reason why they had such a following is because they were just gorgeous to look at. They kind of sold this idea and this fantasy lifestyle similar to Nara Smith, and like a lot of people that criticize Nara Smith, selling this idea that you can be gorgeous with your gorgeously manufactured and stationary blonde curls down to your hip bones, kids rattling all around you, you've never had a credit card in your own name, but like you're happy, your husband loves you, and that is something that they want other people to strive for. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist about this whole mom talk thing, and I could totally see it being like a little bit of a government psyop in order for them to recruit younger people into the Mormon church. Oh my god, let me put my tinfoil hat on really. Okay, now I have my tinfoil hat on. This is kind of cute, by the way. I could totally see the government trying to like recruit young people into being really obedient young women, especially, and refrain them from being like professionals and wanting them to focus on their domestic duties and just being complacent housewives who don't question authority. And by doing that, they need them to subscribe to a religion that promotes that. So if they get them to join Mormonism, or that's a good way to get us all to give our DNA to Ancestry.com. I do see these people as kind of Mormon influencers in the sense that they literally are. I think this is hurting my head. My head's starting to hurt. Are you supposed to wear tinfoil on your head? Is that bad for you? I don't feel like that was good for me. I'm getting a headache. I don't know if I'm like explaining this super well, like I'm not being very articulate right now, but it's an interesting thing because I can see them as basically being like salespeople for Mormon religion. They try to say, no, we're not. We're a new generation. But we watch this show and we see that's really actually not the case, and they are totally still subjected to the same patriarchy that Mormonism has always been. It's just in a different form now, and they don't see it because they're like, well, I can go and get Botox and I can wear skinny jeans, therefore my husband respects me. And it's like, no, he wants you to look a certain way. The looks on this show, also, when we get into the tier ranking, oh my god. We just need to get into it. We're gonna get into all of Taylor Frankie Paul's drama as we go and rank her, so don't even worry. I've done rankings on my TikTok before, but this is my first one that I'm doing on YouTube. So I usually rank people based on how important I think they are to the cast and to the storyline. I'm not necessarily judging people on whether or not I think they're good people. That really does not make someone a good reality star in my opinion. In fact, it makes you a bad one, usually. Okay, so in our top ranking, we have Mother of Mom Talk. This is a highly disputed and highly coveted position, and frankly, I only think it can only go to one person, if you know what I mean. We're just gonna start off strong with the most important person on this cast, just because I don't feel like we can explain anybody else before we explain the one and the only Taylor Frankie Paul. Taylor Frankie Paul is getting put in the Mother of Mom Talk tier automatically. This show has 8 people on the cast, and Taylor had a bad moment. We're gonna talk about it here in a second, but they waited for her. That's some Teresa Giudice power, right? It's like when Teresa went to prison and Ron J was like, we're not gonna film a season without her. Like, what the fuck will that season be about? Us just talking about Teresa being in prison? They filmed House of this show, whatever it's fucking called, Secret Mom Wives, without Taylor. Like, they would have just been talking about her the whole time. So I thought that was a very intelligent decision. It's really telling of her power, her dynamic with the cast, because I don't really know how individually interesting a lot of these women are. So Taylor Frankie Paul is the central person in a lot of these scandals. Is really the reason why people wanted to put cameras on this group, because Taylor was the person who was in charge of this whole mom talk phenomenon. In 2022, she went on TikTok live and just kind of went rogue and basically said, like, me and my husband have been swinging with like all these other mom talk people. Not only that, but outside of the swinging, I have been having extramarital affairs with 2 other people. Not just one, but 2 other husbands. Let me tell you about all that, because we really didn't talk about this on the show, and I thought that was pretty unfortunate in my opinion. I'm gonna give you like a really short and sweet version. She was in a previous marriage, right? And she and her husband were swinging with her best friend and her best friend's husband. Then at some point, best friend's husband declared feelings for Taylor, like emotional feelings, and Taylor was like, I don't have feelings for you, but we can keep fucking. And she didn't tell her best friend that he had feelings and that they were even sleeping together. So that was very, very messy. And then outside of this, she was also having an emotional affair with another couple that they had brought into the swinging sphere. I don't believe that they had been sleeping together outside of this group swinging situation, but she said that they had an emotional affair and that she was relying on him a lot for the emotional support that she couldn't get from her husband or from the second guy. It's like brother husbands situation. It's insane. So she basically screwed up like 5 relationships in one, and her ex-husband divorced her. The wildest thing was just that she went on TikTok live and like said it all. It was honestly amazing. Like, not enough people do that. I think more people should just go on TikTok live and just say it all, mention it all. Why don't you? I love that she has no shame, and I am positive that some reality producer saw that she's just an open book. Here she is sharing it all on TikTok live for no money, other than like her little fucking gifts that she got, I guess. They knew that she would be more than willing to share everything on camera. We see Taylor in a kind of a fallout space. She is dealing with the damage that she has caused, and she is now dating the ex-meth head Dakota, and so the first episode literally starts with her having a pregnancy scare with her new boyfriend. So then one night, Taylor comes home drunk. Dakota, mind you, is sober because he is in recovery. They get into a physical altercation. The police are involved. Taylor was arrested for domestic violence. This was in February of 2023. She had just had a miscarriage. She was arrested. She had this whole affair literally in like 8 months. All of this happened in 8 months. She was like, I don't think I can be on camera right now. So they put cameras down for her and waited until she was like, I'm ready. And then they picked it back up like 8 months later. Now she is pregnant with Dakota's child, and they are still not stable. I am so concerned for this child. I cannot believe it. And they are still together, which I also cannot believe. Taylor is just critical. I read that she was interviewed for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but they said that she was too boring. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't do their research. Definitely missed opportunity there, but I also don't know. Like, she's 30. And I think it would have been like kind of a Monica situation if she did come on with these like older women. I just don't know that it would have made sense organically. But I think it's interesting that we're kind of having like a millennial age housewife situation. I like that it's not as collegey as like Summer House and stuff like that, because these are all women with families and stuff. It's so interesting how they're so young. It's fascinating to me. Speaking of Monica, I actually found Taylor's mom, I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but I thought Taylor's mom was low-key pretty dark. And I think that she was putting on a real act. This is my take. It might be a hot take. I thought she was putting on a real act for the camera. And I think her true colors are really gonna start showing, because I don't think a normal calm person like the one that she was portraying on television could give birth to a person like Taylor. I just don't think that is physically possible. She gives major Monica and LD energy, the two of them. So I'm gonna put her, oh god, but I'm gonna keep her in the slightly disturbed category for now. She hasn't done enough yet, other than when she called Whitney. That was really weird. Remember when she called Whitney and she was like trying to deal with Whitney and Taylor's altercations? A mother that would take it upon herself to call her 30-year-old daughter's friends to try and work it out on the remix is not a trustworthy person. It's like not a good sign at all. So I'm gonna keep her down here. Okay, I changed the categories a little bit, and I changed the bottom one to too dark to process, just so this makes sense on the scale of important to least important. If they're too dark for me to process, then like I really can't handle them being on my screen and I actually want to vomit, and it's like basically a black void that my eyes don't perceive. Let's keep that in mind. And with that, I did go ahead and bump up this little LD imitator to reality star potential, because I'm telling you guys, hold out on this girl. Season 2, she's gonna come out guns a-blazing. We're gonna finish off with the Taylor Frankie Paul gang. Also, I'm gonna change my name to Sarah Frankie Wheeler because I think it's amazing. 3 names just has like real star power to it, and I think Sarah Frankie Wheeler really has a ring to it. Dakota, I might get canceled for saying this, but you know when you can just like tell that someone has done meth before or would do it, like they've seen it and they're like, I would do that, and that he's done that. So I'm glad he's good now and he's in recovery, but God, are there lingering effects? And I actually think his energy makes him perfect for Taylor, but I do not love that they are bringing in a child. They have already brought a child into the world together. It is incredibly disturbing to me. He's actually not the worst husband on this show, in my opinion, or boyfriend, whatever, but I do think that he cheated on Taylor, and I don't think he is a stable person for her to be relying on. She needs stability. Like, she cannot be the stable one in the relationship. That dynamic is just never going to be sustainable. Once again, this poor child. I think Taylor also is aware of his instabilities in the sense that she does not want to commit to marriage with him because she knows that's tying herself down legally, but it is confusing because they already had a kid. I guess Mormons just don't believe in like contraception, or I don't really know. Who knows? Okay, let's move back to our Mormon mommies. So these two, I was getting them mixed up the entire fucking season. Let's just get into it. This is Demi right here. Demi is an icon, but I did not know Demi and Jesse were different people until about episode 5. I didn't know about Jesse. Sorry, Jesse. Jesse actually turned out to be kind of an icon, but I really wish she would have changed up her look, and my advice to you, Jessie, is season 2, you need to come back with a completely new look. You need to be redhead. Like, this is just, it's copy and paste. I can't handle it. No offense, but Demi is owning this light brown wave. Like, Demi owns that territory, and you just need to let her have it and move somewhere else. So, obviously, we know I love Demi. I think she is true reality star potential. Oh, I did not mean to leave Dakota there. I'm gonna put him down here. I don't really want him there. I don't want him on camera. Okay, wait. 1 second. Why I've been all distracted lately? It's because I got kitties. I got kitties this weekend. I rescued kitties. This is, let's see, this is Laurel. And this is Bluebell. Say hi, Bluebell. Say hi, Laurel. They are so cute. They are 7 weeks old, weigh about 1 pound. They're good girls. They're both girls. I only have girls. If you hear a bunch of squealing in the background, it's my babies. They just woke up from their nap. So I was trying to record this while they were sleeping, and they woke up, and now they're gonna start meowing in a little bit. So I apologize. So I definitely think Demi has reality star potential. She was not afraid of confrontation. I don't know. I just thought that the way that she navigated the whole season was really impressive. Her husband is easily the hottest one. Like, she secured the bag out of all of the women. They're all clowning her for having a whole old husband, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're 27, married to some 24-year-old, doesn't have a job, can't support himself, and doesn't have a developed frontal lobe. Like, don't be jealous. Moving on to Jessie, who really, like I said, did not make herself known at all until about episode 5. I'm gonna put her in the Holmes category, although she did turn out to be kind of an icon, just because, again, 5 out of the 8 episodes, girl, who were you? Where were you? We're not clocked in enough for my liking. And it really just comes down to probably her look. But these copy paste women, it is insane. And the way that they curl their hair, I noticed it was so interesting because every single one of the curls all across her head all fall at the same location, same locale. And I'm like, do they use a ruler to know, okay, first curl is right about 3 inches from the head, second curl is about 4. And I'm like, how? I was like, marveled. Let's move on to Michaela. This is Michaela. She is the one, everyone's saying that she kind of looks like Leighton Meester. I can definitely see that. She was really calm, not interesting, just really not interesting. Kind of a stable voice of reason, like a good audience proxy. I guess that's why they casted her, but I feel like you could probably get that from Macy or Jessie. I don't know, it just felt like, why do they need 8 new people to learn all their names, all these little girls, all their brown hair? It is just a lot, and when not everyone's bringing something to the table, I don't understand why they needed 8. She kind of is just a filler spot. It's no offense to her because she seems completely pleasant, and I think that's just frankly what made her boring, is that she seemed very pleasant. She overall just didn't really have the right energy for reality television, so her casting was a little interesting in my opinion. Layla she's 22. I am literally older than her, which is dark. I don't like getting to an age where I'm older than the people that are on my screen. And she is already married, divorced, had her children, been there and done that, except for she has not had an orgasm. I wonder how many other things little Layla has never experienced in her life. She's never had to go like look for her ID at the bar the next day. You know that meme that's like, my wife ordered 12 tacos tonight, like she's crazy. Like that's why I feel like Layla's like, I'm crazy, I'm gonna order 12 tacos from Taco Bell and put them in the fridge and eat 2 of them. And I feel like that's Layla's like crazy, just because she's never lived anything, and it is so scary to me. And I think it's interesting that the older girls on the show, like, they kind of take Layla in under their wing, and they definitely do support her, but I don't feel like they are able to understand her. Macy's like, I had kids when I was 16, like I never lived that college life, you know, that's just not a part of their culture, and that's hard for me to understand, like looking into it. I thought that they would be more like, it's crazy that her life is like that, but they seemed really unfazed by Layla's status. Surprised that she never had an orgasm, but they were like, yeah, she has kids, she's never really lived her life, just because that's what they all did. That's so not out of the ordinary for this group of people. She was kind of interesting, but not really. She's just like really young. She's gonna have a hard time like going to bat with Demi or even Taylor. Okay, let's talk about Jen Affleck. This is little Jennifer. Jennifer Affleck, she is married to Zach Affleck, who is allegedly Ben Affleck's second cousin. And people are all over Reddit trying to be genealogists saying that they are not actually second cousins with Ben Affleck. So I don't know if that's true. It all kind of went over my head, if I'm gonna be honest, but there's a whole Reddit thread going on about it right now. You should really read into it. Regardless, I don't care. I think she fucking sucks, but she's great for the show. So I really think Jen, right now, she's kind of in this reality star potential, because I find her to be frankly fascinating. She's gorgeous to look at. She's not afraid of like confrontation and showing her emotions on camera, or even showing like things that make her and her husband look really bad. Like she's not afraid to show those on camera, which I found to be really interesting. So right now I'm putting her in this reality star potential slot, but I think she has moments of being a necessary evil, and maybe season 2 she could come back as like a full-blown villain. I think that would be powerful for little Jen Affleck. Her whole gag is that she's married to this shrimpy ass man, ramen noodle hair. He is just fucking ugly. That's not even the worst part about him, because he is a complete narcissist with a gambling addiction who bankrolls off of her TikTok mom talk money to feed his gambling addiction. And then he's gonna go and yell at her, saying her morals, she has a lack of morals for going to a Magic Mike show. You know what he was doing while she was at the Magic Mike show? He was gambling away her mom talk money. Just a fucking loser. Like an absolute loser. And he's out here thinking, I'm the man. You need to listen to me. I'm the man. You're out here gambling on her coin. Her TikTok coin. My mom talk coin. You call yourself a man? You get man privileges when you start doing manly things. That's my take. You start making $500 grand a year? Fine. I'll sweep the kitchen. That's fine. That's just my opinion. I know not everybody has that take, and I know that's kind of controversial. It's not always like about money, but it kind of is when you're talking about who is the one gonna be at work making money all day and who is the person that's gonna be at home doing the kids, or is there gonna be a balance between the two? And I think at this point, Jen's doing all of them. His deal is that he's in medical school, and so he's feeling insecure because he can't bring in money yet. That's obviously very understandable. A lot of people are in those positions where you're in like grad school and you have to depend on your partner or parent or whatever to get you through there because there's an end goal in sight. And you know that one day you'll be able to bring in that money. But I'm like, Jen, what are you waiting for? You're gonna wait another 4 to 6 years for this man? He's still gonna be terrible. He's still gonna be ugly. He's still gonna boss you around. He's still gonna gamble your money away. And you're still probably gonna have to make mom talks. Like, he's just horrible. In fact, and for a while, I do feel bad for her, and I have felt bad for her, but the more that she continues to stick by him and defend his evilness, the more it makes me think that she is just as bad as he is. We obviously have to keep Zach in this too dark to process category, but if Jen comes back, then so is Zach, and that's kind of okay, even though he's terrible. Let's talk about Macy. Macy is blondest of the group. She is kind of Whitney's sidekick. She's not super interesting on her own, in my opinion, other than the fact that she got pregnant at 16 and then her baby daddy passed away like a week later or something crazy like that. So she has an interesting backstory, but her on the show, I didn't find her to be that captivating other than when she like somewhat turned on Whitney, but that didn't really stick for that long. I'm gonna kind of keep her in the Whomst category, but I really want to be mad if she came back for season 2. Okay, now let's get back to the real reason for the season. Here we have Whitney Levitt. Levitt. I don't really know her name, but if you don't remember Whitney found her 15 minutes of fame and really struck stardom on TikTok when her child had RSV and had to be put on oxygen, or I don't even know. She went to the hospital and was doing all this shit. It got her canceled because who does that when you're in the hospital with your child? Imagine being in the hospital with your child and be like, it is bizarre thinking to me. Also, anyone who would ever style like a bob that short, like jaw length, honestly it's mouth level, right at her fucking mouth, and the way she curls it out like Wendy, only a true villain would curl their hair at that angle to that direction. I've never seen anything like it, and it's truly profound, but she is necessary for the show. Let's all agree. Let's all nod in unison as we say Whitney is so necessary for the show. She's not mother of mom talk. That is Taylor Frankie Paul, but she is certainly in this necessary evil category. With her and her little gay husband are truly controversial figures, and they know it and they love it. And I think this is the spot that Whitney thrives in. I think she's just like an easy counter. She's not afraid to be like the devil's advocate, and she easily understands that like when everyone is gonna take one side, Whitney's gonna take the other side because like someone's got to. I agree that the RSV thing was terrible, and it shows that she definitely lacks some moral and her judgment is off, but I thought that she was a little overhated on the show. My overall critique of the show was that super interesting, a great cast, lots of great characters here, great potential, but season 1, like there wasn't much that actually happened on camera. Like the major drama and the most interesting things that happened all happened before or off camera. I get the RSV thing, trust me, I get that, but I don't understand why we took away she is like the absolute worst person, everyone needs to hate her. I'm like, yeah, she's the devil's advocate and I think she's a villain on a show, but I don't see her as being like as bad as like Zach. I think Zach is like a way worse person than Whitney is. Whitney, I feel like she's playing a character and she's good at it and I like it. Her bob is just seals the deal in for me. So it's like necessary evil, but interesting on her own. I love the way that she fled to Hawaii and relocated her whole young family just over a Grindr scandal. But this is Whitney's husband. There was a scandal, again, prior to the show being filmed, that he was on Tinder and was like sending nudes and stuff like that. But apparently you can't send photos on Tinder, but you can send them on Grindr. Everyone's saying like, oh, it wasn't Tinder, it was Grindr. Who knows if that's where he was actually sending the photos. It probably all left the app at some point anyways. I do love the theory that he's gay, and you fuck it, he might even have reality star potential if he is. But I actually think Whitney and her husband are kind of like a cunty duo, and they could be like a reality duo, an evil duo. Alex and Simon from Roni. But I could see them being a joint duo going forward. He was on camera like a lot, so it shows me that he's certainly interested in being in this sphere. So this is my ranking of basically everybody after season 1, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I thought that the show was really interesting. Like I said, really good cast, and I'm excited to see like what direction it goes. And I thought it was clearly trying to mimic Real Housewives in the way that it was shot and produced, but it's not quite at that level just because, like I said, there wasn't anything that happened. There would be no need for a reunion because what are we going to talk about? Like, the season just felt rather inconclusive, and I didn't appreciate that. Should have been, I don't know, like, what happened on the show? It was so interesting still, though. Like, everyone's still gonna talk about it. I still made a video about it, but it's in its baby step. Season 2, I am worried, though, that they're gonna hear a lot of this feedback and come back and be too overly produced and have too much happening. So we'll see. I want to know, what do you guys think of this ranking? Where would you put people? The Housewives of Salt Lake City starts this week, so I am so freaking excited. If you guys have not seen my Mary Cosby 45-minute long deep dive, you need to absolutely watch that right now before the season starts. Yeah, let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see next. More deep dives, anything different. If you guys like the tier ranking video, whatnot, just let me know. Goodbye.